Hello and welcome to this Histobrick magazine video. The LEGO Technic 42065 Porsche is a great set, 2,704 parts and an enormous amount of panels. Unfortunately, this means that some of the essence of your typical Technic set is lost. It's almost impossible to see what's going on inside the model. Even from the bottom view, you only see a few of the gears, but don't really get a clear view of what all the mechanisms are doing. Now, during the building process, there is a stage where you connect the chassis to the bodywork and use a series of pins to hold the two together. So let's see what happens when we take those pins out, and let's see if we can separate the chassis from the bodywork. Let's take off the wheels. There's two pins here and another two on the opposite side. There's a pin here and another one there, which I've already taken out, and one just above it here, and of course also on the other side. Then on the other side of the door there's another pin here that you need to pull out. These are quite difficult to get at. And the front, here, there. This and this. Now there's two more that are easily overlooked because they are right behind the seats and they're very hard to see. Actually, I'm not sure you can see them at all in this video. They're right here, just behind the seats. My hand gets in the way. Let's see, from behind you can see them here in this position. Okay, so if you get all of these loose, let's see what happens. At the front we have some play, but not enough. And at the back things look up a bit. It's a bit better, but still it's obvious something is in the way. So what's going on? Well, there's a few more elements that need changing, and in order to do so easily, you're going to have to make some minor changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can do that using just these parts. Now the first reason why this sticks together is because the seats act like a bridge between the bottom and the top part. As you can see here, there's a little handle at the bottom that you push in, but unfortunately only the axle connector comes out, so we're going to have to be a little rougher on that. There it is, and something fell out there. Okay, so now as you can see, we already have a bit more movement here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pull the axle joiner under the seat, and in this case the axle actually came out, which is what we needed in order to get the seat free. Okay, now if the axle comes out, you can pull out this part here. As you can see, the axle is held in place by this angle joiner, and because it has friction, because it is an axle shape, the axle will not come out easily. Okay, there's an easy fix for that. If we just take out the pin, put in an axle pin and connect the axle joiner the other way around, then this will now slide through, and taking this out and putting it back in repeatedly is going to be easy. Let's put this piece back in. Okay, so with everything back in place now, I can fairly easily move the chair back into position and connect this up. There you are. Now you can pull it out again. Oh, it didn't connect. There we go. That's it. Okay, all set. Now I can just pull it out and I'm free to go. And as you can see, the movement I have is much further. Okay, so if I do the same thing on the other side, I will need another one of these and I will get out another black pin. So that's done. got my two black pins, and I'm going to leave these two out for now because what I want is to separate the two parts. Up next, I need to look under the dashboard. This comes out very easily. As you can see, there is this grey piece here holding the two parts together. So let's lift that out. Let's keep the pins in their places. Just avoid complications. Okay, now you can see these two orange parts here. They're on top of two long blue pins that also weld the two parts together. So we need to get those out. Let's get at it. This goes with this. Dashboard in one piece. Now, in order to move this piece, you may have to pull out pin here and move this sideways carefully. There you are. Now we can get out the orange bit. That's it. And pull on the pin. It's probably easier to just use an axle to push it out. There we are. Okay. As you can see, this is now loose, so we have a bit more movement in there. So we're going to substitute this one for one of the black pins we got out of the seats to get everything back into place, but without welding the parts together. Give me a minute, and I will do the same thing on the other side. Back here. Take this out for now. And we can push this pin back in or just fold it back. It'll stay in place by itself. It's not a big deal. Let's have a look at the other side. Instead of pulling out just the black part, I'm going to go for the grey beam that you see here and pull all of that beam out. If you do that carefully, not too much will come undone. There you go. That's it. One. And two. Orange piece. Long blue pin. It's always easier if you can work with two hands. And the black pin that we took out of the seats goes in here. As you can see, because of the position of the car right now, it's already coming up and getting loose. This goes back in, and there we are. Okay, now as you can see, the grey part here that we took out, the 5 long beam, okay, should go back into a part that belongs to the chassis. Okay, so what we're going to do is there's a blue pin in here. Let's see if I can show you that. There's a blue pin in here, which I'm going to pull out and substitute with one of these, which means that it will hold the parts together, but where it sinks into the frame, the connection will not be as strong. It'll still stay in place, but it'll be easier to remove if I ever want to lift off the bodywork from the chassis. And I'm going to do the same to the black pin I have here with one of the blue pins that I brought along. Okay, this can go back into place. There we are. Okay, all set and ready. Now, for this part, hood. Bonnet. There it goes. That's it. Okay, all set and ready. One step further. As you can see now, this side is already completely free, but on this side I still have some friction, and that is because we still need to pull out one more red pin. It's right behind the door here, if you can see it. Right inside the door, holding the door against the changeover mechanism. Now if you pull that out, you're also going to have to pull the top part of the door up a bit, because in the corner of that changeover catch there is another long blue pin which holds the top of the door construction of the door mechanism. Now I've chosen to take that aside, pull out the long blue pin and substitute it again with this long axle pin, so that when the top of the door mechanism goes on top here, it'll be easier to take off again, but because it's all held together, it will still not come off during your normal use. There you go. It's on top and back in. Okay, just hold that red pin out. Now you can push this back into place. This is going to stay here, and this will just have to. Alright, there we are. Now, let's see what happens. Did we miss anything? There it goes. Okay, and we now have the chassis and the bodywork in two separate parts that easily come apart. The changes I made to the seat, you can see here, it'll now easily slide in and out. The top of the door mechanism will now easily slide off this, and the part of the mechanism that was in here under the grey 5 long beam now has 2 axle ends. Here you should see those. Okay, which makes it easy to just sit it on top there, but will not hold on too stiffly. Which means that from now on, you can simply remove the top of the car to show off all the mechanisms inside. These 2 pins here at the back that hold this part in place, they're not really that essential. You can just leave them out, because prying them out every time is going to be hard, but I'll leave that up to you. So that's it. This is the easy way to get the 2 parts separate so that you can show off what the car looks like on the inside and how it works quite easily. Reverse operation, how to put the car back together. Well, quite easily. You just set this on top, everything will sort of slide into place. First things first, make sure everything is stable, so push in the pins that are behind the wheels. Those are the easiest to do. And at the front the same thing. Okay, then have a look at these that are over the doors. Just push those in, and the ones underneath as well if you like. And basically what's left is making sure that the door mechanism is properly placed, that you push the red pin that is behind the door here back in so that the door can't move out of position. There you are. Put this brace back onto the top in order to hold the 2 parts together, and reinstall the dashboard and you're good to go. Well, wheels evidently, but you see what I mean. Final set, locking the chairs back into position, and that's it, all ready to go.